Benavidez Morrell, who wins?
It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. 50-50 fight.
And I think that it's going to be a war. In my eyes, I see it as a 50-50 fight.
These fighters, I think David Morrell may have needed, one or two more real tests before he really, build the resolve to be able to handle a guy with the ability, the power.
Boxing pros have weighed in on the highly anticipated clash between David Benavidez and David Morrell, set for this Saturday, February 1st, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Former world champion Shawn Porter has given a slight edge to Benavidez, favoring him 55-45 in this evenly matched 12-round main event. Porter, along with other Benavidez supporters, believes the 27-year-old's extensive experience in the professional ranks gives him an advantage over the 11-0 Morrell. While Morrell is a formidable opponent, he has yet to face the same level of competition as Benavidez, who has battled seasoned fighters throughout his career. However, some remain skeptical of Benavidez's recent performances. His victories over Caleb Plant and Demetrius Andrade, while notable, have been questioned. Plant had already suffered a decisive defeat to Canelo Alvarez, and Andrade, at 36, was past his prime. Additionally, Benavidez's lackluster showing against Alexander Gvozdyk in June raised concerns. He struggled against the powerful Ukrainian, showing signs of fatigue and vulnerability. Despite these doubts, Porter remains excited about the matchup, dubbing it a true David versus David showdown. He acknowledges Morrell's size and talent, but believes Benavidez is better suited for the 175-pound division. More importantly, he stresses that Benavidez's ability to endure resistance over 12 rounds is a key factor, something Morrell has yet to experience at the highest level. Porter also pointed to Morrell's recent fight against Aidos Yerbasinili, which, while impressive...
Fight is that one?
That's 50-50 right there. If anything, 55-45 for Benavidez. Yeah. I love David versus David. I love everything about the fight. The thing I feel that Benavidez has over Morrell is experience, is true strength. Both of those guys are big guys, but I think Benavidez is more of the natural 175-pounder.
Yeah, Morrell's such a high-level technical fighter, but Jose mentioned what you just mentioned, they feel like the experience is going to eventually show through. I don't know, take me into that, how experience can trump, talent and technicality like that.
You know what? The thing that I know for this fight, when you are in a competitive fight that's going to go 12 rounds, of course you're prepared for the 12.
Didn't test him the way this upcoming bout will. With both fighters hungry for victory, this showdown promises to be an electrifying battle. Shawn Porter believes David Morrell has yet to experience the kind of resistance a grueling 12-round battle brings. He points out that Morrell has never faced an opponent who applies relentless pressure or matches the sheer size of a cruiserweight like David Benavidez. While Morrell easily handled Radivoje Kalajdzic in his 175-pound debut on August 3rd last year, he was never forced onto the back foot, something Benavidez will look to do this Saturday. Kalajdzic may pack more power in single punches than Benavidez, but he didn't apply non-stop volume like the Mexican monster intends to. If Benavidez recklessly charges in, he risks walking into Morrell's sharp counters or crumbling under a well-placed body shot. Benavidez's debut at 175 pounds was even more underwhelming than Morrell's. Against Alexander Gvozdyk on June 15th, he ran out of steam after 8 rounds and was in serious trouble in the 12th. In the final 30 seconds, Gvozdyk unloaded a barrage of punishing combinations on a fatigued and stationary Benavidez. Despite this, Porter believes Benavidez can match Morrell in power and speed while also outboxing him. He emphasized that the resistance Benavidez will bring will test Morrell mentally, turning the fight into a roller coaster battle. While Benavidez has faced these mental and physical challenges before, Morrell has not. The real question remains: can Benavidez go toe-to-toe with Morrell without hitting the canvas? While he has traded shots with smaller, aging 168-pounders, this fight presents an entirely different challenge, one that will test both fighters at the highest level. David Benavidez built his early record by overwhelming smaller opponents, but that approach fell apart at 175 pounds against Alexander Gvozdyk. He was rocked and later blamed injured hands, an excuse that sounded more like damage control than reality. Against a fighter like David Morrell, who has the ability to systematically chip away at his opponent, Benavidez could be in real trouble. Benavidez is known for his granite chin, as seen in his bout with Gvozdyk, but he absorbs headshots far better than body blows. His vulnerability to body punches is no surprise. His love for food often results in significant weight gain between fights. Like many fighters with long torsos and fluctuating physiques, his midsection remains a clear weak spot. When asked if he could see Benavidez defeating Morrell in 6 rounds, similar to his November 25, 2023, victory over the smaller and older Demetrius Andrade, Sean Porter expressed uncertainty. While he favored Benavidez, he speculated it might take 8 or 9 rounds for a stoppage. He noted that Morrell, though the same height as Andrade, is significantly stronger and possesses better physical attributes. Porter described the fight as one with resistance on both ends, calling it a beautiful matchup. Securing a knockout against Morrell will be a tough task for Benavidez. He will have to take serious risks, either by exposing himself to Morrell's sharp counters or getting systematically outboxed. He can't afford to approach this bout the same way he did against smaller, aging opponents at super middleweight. His resume at 168 pounds is paper-thin, not much better than Edgar Berlanga's. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez admits he is torn on the winner of Saturday's light heavyweight showdown. The fight, which will determine the WBA regular and WBC interim champions, features 2 fighters Canelo has been previously linked to. While bookmakers favor Benavidez, Canelo sees the bout as evenly matched, calling it a 50-50 fight. After failing to secure a fight against Canelo, who holds 3 of the 4 world titles at 168 pounds, Benavidez moved up to light heavyweight in June. He won his debut at 175 pounds against former world champion Gvozdyk, though his performance left many questioning his endurance at the new weight class. Morrell, who also moved up to 175 pounds, made his division debut in August with a points victory over Radivoje Kalajdzic. However, Olympic gold medalist Andy Cruz anticipates a knockout win for Morrell, believing the Cuban's skill and power will be too much for Benavidez to handle. With both fighters carrying high stakes into this bout, Saturday's matchup promises to be a thrilling contest that could redefine the light heavyweight landscape. Olympic gold medalist Andy Cruz sees similarities between himself and David Morrell, noting that both share a relaxed, playful approach to boxing. Morrell is always smiling, dancing, and joking, perhaps even more than Cruz himself. In contrast, David Benavidez appears tense, carrying a mix of anger and anxiety as he prepares for this crucial showdown. Watching Benavidez, it's clear he understands the magnitude of this fight. The weight of uncertainty looms over him, knowing that a loss could undo years of hard work and derail his career. The fear that his time at the top may be slipping away seems to haunt him, pushing him to adopt an intimidating demeanor in hopes of shaking Morrell's confidence. Benavidez never sought this fight, having sidestepped Morrell's callouts since 2022. For the past 5 years, he has capitalized on facing older, smaller opponents past their prime. A showdown with Morrell threatens that lucrative streak, forcing him into a challenge he has long avoided. Cruz believes Morrell is locked in and ready. In terms of his focus for this fight, I see him really dialed in. It's going to be a difficult fight, but I think he's going to put on a great performance, Cruz told the media while analyzing the matchup. I don't just see him winning, I see him winning by knockout. Many fans are rallying behind Benavidez, viewing him as a top-tier fighter. But if Morrell exposes him, the backlash will be swift. No one enjoys seeing their idols unmasked as hype, leaving them feeling deceived. Should Benavidez lose, his supporters may quickly abandon him, leaving him adrift as his once promising light heavyweight campaign fades into uncertainty. David Benavidez's potential defeat will be a tough pill for his fans to swallow. For years, they have hailed him as the top fighter at 168 pounds, believing he had what it took to dethrone Canelo Alvarez. Yet few have truly scrutinized his fighting style or the level of competition he has faced over his 12-year career. This blind loyalty raises serious questions. Looking at Benavidez's most recent bout against Alexander Gvozdyk, it becomes evident that he may not be the fighter his supporters believe him to be. His thin resume and struggles at light heavyweight suggest he has been carefully matched against aging, undersized opponents while competing outside his ideal weight class. Light heavyweight contender Radivoje Kalajdzic believes Morrell's path to victory lies in staying composed through the crucial first 6 to 8 rounds. If Morrell can weather Benavidez's early pressure, he could take control in the later rounds. Meanwhile, super middleweight contender Diego Pacheco sees the fight differently. Speaking with Shahzid, he expressed confidence that Benavidez will defeat Morrell. Having recently sparred with Benavidez, Pacheco praised his conditioning and ring presence, calling him a monster. Interestingly, Pacheco repeatedly referred to Benavidez as simply David, which could leave some viewers confused about which fighter he meant. Perhaps one of them should adopt the nickname Goliath just for this bout. Pacheco stated that Benavidez has looked impressive in training, showing incredible shape and skill. He believes Benavidez will handle business on February 1st, and even suggested he could secure a stoppage victory against Morrell in what promises to be an intense showdown.